What's up, G Federation? It is day 20 of 100 stadiums in 100 days. I'm in a spot you probably didn't expect me to be. I have a reason. Hear me out. For this video, we went to a New York City FC game to get an MLS game in and watch a soccer game at Yankee Stadium that I thought would be pretty interesting. It was cool to see the Yankees infield grassed over. I don't know how they really do that during the season, but once you got past the sight of that, it was a pretty dead crowd and just not enough content that I felt like was enough to make a good full YouTube video out of. I'm also just not a soccer guy and not a New York City guy and not really that much of a Yankee Stadium guy, especially the new one. Pretending to care about something I don't care about, that's not good content for either of us. So instead, what I know both of us like based on content we've already made on this page is doing some ranking videos and catching up on 20 straight days of traveling with a lot that's already happened. I've had so many people asking to rank best experiences on tailgates, games, everything we've already done, questions about what's coming up in the future, questions about how I'm putting this all together. So I just opened up my inbox on all of my platforms and took a bunch of questions that we're just gonna roll through right now. Make sure you drop a like, send a comment, sub up if you haven't already, and we're gonna start this up with the best tailgates we've been to so far in 2025. We've been to 9 of them. Most obvious thing so far, college football tailgates are undefeated. We went to a CFL tailgate, we went to an NFL tailgate. Neither of them stacked up to any of the college tailgates we went to. I heard that Canada has pretty strict public intox laws compared to the US, which hurts their tailgating. And I didn't go to the best NFL tailgate. I went to a team, the Colts, that's supposed to be bad week 1. But either way, they just weren't the same. The lots that we went to at both of these games had more cars parked with nobody in them than people out front of them tailgating. Getting into the college tailgates though, we've been to 7 of them. These are the ones right here that we've been to. We'll get to like probably over 40 by the end of the year. Starting at number 7 is Wake Forest though. Wake doesn't have the best tailgating reputation. I don't want to just completely diss them here because they did have a pulse and some really cool stuff going on, but it was kind of just a wallflower tailgate. You had like 5 cars over some spots, 4 cars over another spot. Way too much space for parking than that would ever fill up for a Wake Forest football game. Not because their parking situation doesn't make sense. There's a lot of other stuff going on around there they need a lot of parking for. The intermingling just wasn't great because of that though, and because the students had their own ticketed tailgate I couldn't even get into. So that took a little bit of juice out of it too. I do really believe if Wake consolidated their tailgates from like 10 lots to 2, it would be a really good time. And even how it currently is not a bad time. Wake is pretty decisively number 7. Decisively number 6 is UNC. This was Bill Belichick's first game in Chapel Hill, and based on what people told me, was their best tailgate scene they've seen in years. Still didn't stack up with the top of college football. There's really not a whole lot of tents and RVs, and it's kind of a wine and cheese crowd, but I will give credit, the bar scene is where the tailgate is at here, and that was really good. Not just because all the bars had a really good vibe, they're also only a $5 cover, and it wasn't hard to get in or move around or talk in any of them. So many college bars are like an hour-long wait and a $20 cover on a game day. I was so happy I could experience the best bars at UNC without doing either of those things. 3, 4, and 5 is the most interchangeable part to me. For my number 5, I got to put Clemson right there. Probably a little bit of a surprise because it's the best year in and year out football school, and there was a ton of people here, but coming in from an outsider, it wasn't as inviting to me as some of the other ones. Even though it's not an SEC school, Clemson has that SEC tent tailgate culture with rows and rows of tents where everyone has the same spot for years and years and years. If you're in the in crowd with that, I see where Clemson would be a special place and where it's a great time. I don't want to take that away from them, but I think the LSU fans that were there will agree with me on this one. If you're just showing up to Clemson with their structure they already have, combined with the limited space of a college town, it's pretty hard to make your way in and just get the best experience. So number 4 for me is Louisville, which might be a little bit more of a personal preference, but it is more of that Midwest free-for-all tailgate that I've been used to. They have some pretty stiff competition because the other 3 tailgates ahead of them were rivalry games, but I've actually gone to 3 Louisville tailgates right now, and I think I got a pretty good feel for it no matter what's going on. Louisville is still as solid as it comes for a tailgate. Everything 5 and up is really good to me. Just as a numbers game though, the sheer size of their tailgate isn't as big as the other ones. The people that are there get down though. Missouri got at number 3. We went there for the border war and it just clean met my expectations, which like I had very high expectations going in. It's not a slight to say that they met them. It was a great tailgate. There just isn't one thing I can point a finger at where I'm like, wow, this is really different at Mizzou that I've never seen anywhere else. I do love Como though. Number 2 is NC State, and still the most surprising tailgate that I've been to this entire entire trip. Their football stadium is kind of off campus and there's a lot of space around it, and NC State uses every inch of that space to have a hard tailgate. Huge RV lot, huge student lot. There's places out in the woods that just go on for over a mile. It is an endless tailgate and everything is right on top of each other, which I love. How concentrated the tailgate is a big thing for me, and I think that's one thing that separates NC State and West Virginia from the other 5. I spent like 3-4 hours at NC State just walking around the same 2-mile radius. I could have done that for 8 and not ran out of things to do. That puts West Virginia at number 1. The video we put out speaks for itself. The blue lot at West Virginia so far in my life is the best place I've ever been to tailgate. And I've been to the Quad at Alabama. I've been to a Michigan tailgate, a bunch of Michigan State ones. It has topped everything so far. Seeing how hard this school goes, even after losing to Ohio University the week before, is something that I think every fan base can take a note from. West Virginia, week in and week out, absolutely brings it. And that is what college football tailgating is all about. That's the big thing everyone wants to know about what we've done already. Now we're transitioning to what we have going on coming up. First thing, everyone wants to know when I'll be going to their favorite school. That's something we're just not getting into right now. I'm not trying to gatekeep anything. I just really don't know with 100% certainty myself. I don't want to make promises I can't keep. After the NFL ban, that blew up our already loose schedule, and we're really taking it one day at a time right now. A lot of the days so far, I didn't even know what I was doing like 2 days out. I'm trying to get a really good palette for every region of college sports, and I'm trying to go to some combination of the most and the best games every weekend. So for example, if you want to see me at your team's big game on Saturday and there's not any good games close by Thursday or Friday, it's probably not happening. Outside of college sports though, I do have some things on the direction that we're going. One thing that can really help me get places though is on these off days, these facility tours are doing really well. Our most viewed video in the series so far is actually all access tours. So if you have any of those that I could possibly get linked up with, that is a surefire way to get me to an area you want me to be. Will I appeal the NFL suspension? At some point, yeah, this season, probably not. Even if I did, I don't think they would let me through. Once we get a full season in of doing brand safe content that I think we're doing right now, they might open the door back up to it for next season. That's probably the earliest I would ask, but definitely I think by the end of the Lucas Oil ban, which is 5 years, we'll probably for sure be able to get into the rest of the NFL stadiums. At least that's my hope. But if not, we weren't really making NFL content before the ban anyways, though I'm not that worried about it. The next thing we definitely want to do based on what I've seen reception wise on this page is more high school stuff. Y'all love the Indiana high school basketball vid. I think if we do a football version of that down south in Texas, something like that, that's going to crush even more. 100% something I'm looking to do, but like the college tours, we're going to need access for that. If you can help me out, that'd be huge. Pro wrestling, yes. Kind of like the high school fields though, I think that it would be better content to go to like an indie circuit and get really in the weeds with some of those promotions than do like I went to Monday Night Raw or I went to AEW Dynamite. But if you think we'd be more interested in WWE, I mean, we could always go to a pay-per-view. I'd have a fun time with that. If we could tap in with like Ring of Honor or OVW and really get inside with some of these wrestlers on that grind, because the indie scene is a crazy scene a lot of you guys don't know about. I think that'd be real cool. Theme parks, probably not as much. We've had some good viewership on theme park stuff before. I can't say it's my favorite thing to make though. I would love to put riding every roller coaster in Cedar Point in one day on a video. That took a lot out of me when I did it on short form though. But I do think concerts, that is definitely a play. I would for sure get a day pass at a crazy festival or like go to like an NBA YoungBoy concert. I don't know. There's a lot of opportunities for that. I think at least one of those days for a concert, that could be cool. Last couple things for future planning, going to a game that has game day. Absolutely, I would do that. I want to go to a game that has game day and big noon kickoff and kind of compare and contrast what's going on at both. I did that one time on short form, and I think that actually would be a really, really good video on YouTube. And last thing, international trips. We did one to London over the spring. A lot of y'all really like that one. I would be into doing that again. It's just gonna have to wait until after 100 stadiums in 100 days. This is all gonna be domestic, except for maybe going to Canada again. That's all I have right now for future planning. A lot of you guys have some questions about the trip, how we're putting this all together. About me personally, we'll rattle a few of those off too. Build the ideal college football stadium, one thing max from each school. First off, great college football stadium. We need a ton of seats on the sideline. The sideline is where you want to sit every single time. I'm gonna take the triple deck that they have at Kyle Field at Texas A&M. Everybody wants to know my favorite college football stadium. It is the number one thing I get asked by a mile. I always cop out because I don't have an answer. There's so many different things that make a college football stadium great. This right here though is actually a really good way of phrasing that, so I can highlight some stuff I really like about different stadiums. Stack everyone right on top of each other. keep that place loud. And for extra, we're going to give them the awning that Washington has over them so they don't get rained on. I'm actually getting kicked out of my hotel room right now, so we're going to take the rest of this video outside real quick. New background, next thing, we're staying in Texas for the end zone. I love the logoed out end zone that Texas has for their premium section. You got to give the corporate premium seat some space somewhere. They don't care that much about the game. Let them get their pictures by the field and call it a day. At least it looks sweet. Other end zone, maybe a surprising one to people. We're going to go with Jack Trice at Iowa State. Every great stadium has some sort of green space for people to sit during the game on the grass. I think that's necessary. Iowa State has that. They have the band right there too. End zone's a great spot for the band, and you got a good spot for the players to come out right by the facility. I really did consider Clemson here with their hill for their entrance and having a space to actually look out into the stadium during an off day. I think them and Georgia do that really well, but the stadium needs to be above ground. I don't want to dug into a hole. Concourse, we're going with Notre Dame. Nebraska, also a great option. Preserve every single last bit of history that we have for this team. Put every single bowl poster up on the wall. I should be able to know everything there is to know about this program, taking one lap around the concourse. Both those schools do a fantastic job of that. I want the exterior to look like LSU because that feels like the biggest stadium in the country on the inside and the outside. And I would put it in Provo, Utah to get the best views that you can get at BYU. Putting this all together is probably a pretty ugly stadium, but that's my favorite feature at all of them. Fatigue on the road, how are we holding up? Got a few questions on that. Honestly, speaking on day 22, even though this is the day 20 video, I feel like I'm doing pretty well. The biggest fatigue for me right now is figuring stuff out outside of the content. We've had a lot of trial and error with thumbnails. We've had a lot of back and forth at school trying to get a few things set up. We've had a lot of time spent just really building out the schedule after the NFL ban. Part of that is intentional. I don't know what the best performing stuff is going to be the first day we put it out. But at the same time, if I had an all access tour or a college football game lined up every single day for the 100 days, I didn't have to think twice about it. I really think that this would be a breeze. Like I could do this 200 days if I had that be the case. Would you rather have unlimited accommodation money or a driver? This is actually a really good question I had to think long and hard about. I'm not too upset about the hotel situation. We'll probably end up spending $5,000 or $6,000 on them over the course of the trip. Could easily go to like 10,000 if I wanted to be bougie, which I would do if I had unlimited accommodations. Right now, the value of my time is more valuable than having a driver. We would have so much of our time back and so much more sleep if I had one. Another question kind of in the same vein, but we'd rather do free parking or free concession. That is not even a thought in my head. Free parking, 1,000,000,000%. But assuming the driver is also free, it would cost so much more than even the top end of hotels to have a driver for me for over 3 straight months. You guys know how hard it can be to park at some of the places that you're used to going every single week. Trying to do that every single time at a different spot, nonetheless a different college campus, we'd probably save a half hour, probably an hour, when you include walking too, if we had a spot right next to the stadium everywhere we went. And I really don't eat concession food anyways. We got some questions on that. Little secret for you guys, stadium to stadium, especially at the college level, the concessions 90% the same. There's like 2 companies that basically have a monopoly over the concession market. Airmark is one of them. I think the other one starts with the C. They'd put out the same stuff at every stadium they're contracted with. So let's say, for example, West Virginia and Missouri both have Airmark for their concession contractor. Not only are they both going to have hot dogs and popcorn at all of their concessions, they are going to have the exact same hot dogs and popcorn at both of their concessions. There's a little bit more creativity for like the MLB and probably some minor leagues too, but college football concession tour is not what you think it would be. Here's an important question. Do I see any women on the road? I see why a lot of you guys wouldn't know this because she doesn't get posted too much, but believe it or not, I actually do have a girlfriend. We've been dating for over 3 years, gonna be 4 in April. Her name's Julia. She lives in Chicago with me when I am home. I love her, so we say loyal out here. But even if that wasn't the case, I don't even think I would have the time to talk to girls right now. We have dedicated 100% of this entire trip to content. These places that don't have great infrastructure for parking, getting around, going to like bars and restaurants after a game, and especially posting that aren't gonna have service for hours before and after the game, that gets in my way a bit. Most stressful place to travel, New York City. It's always New York City. That's always gonna be the answer. But on the complete other side of that, the true college towns like a Clemson, that can grind my gears sometimes too. You can really categorize every place that has a college into 3 buckets. It's either a college town, a college city, or a city with a college in it. The college cities to me are the best spots to go. Your Lansing, Michigans of the world, Madison, Wisconsin, Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm probably a little biased growing up in one, but the places that are full focus college sports, but also big enough that you get all the amenities of an actual functional city, that's the best spot, hands down. Got our last few right here. Favorite player all time, any sport, Denzel Valentine, no question. Say what you want about the NBA career, Michigan State basketball is my favorite sports team by a lot. He's one of the only people to make the NBA from my city. I've been watching him play since he was like 16, and he won National Player of the Year at Michigan State. In my eyes, that right there is a go. What is something I wish I had more time to do? Believe it or not, watching college football. With the traveling at this point, I'm really just watching the games that I'm at, and even those games that I'm at, I'm probably catching one half of the actual game between meeting up with people, touring the stadium, doing everything I gotta do to make a good video. There's gonna be a point in my career where I get way more involved with talking ball again. I don't know when that's gonna be, but I wish I was able to watch more to feel good about my takes and opinions and put more stuff out there. That's all I got for you guys. This video is gonna do surprisingly well or completely flop. Make sure you give me a like and a comment to help me out. Then we're going to be back on the road, Ivy League tomorrow, Rutgers for their blackout game after that. Then we're going to be on Army for our first game in a military base on Saturday. Check it all out. Appreciate y'all.